Hello, Arranging One. This is Kevin. I just wanted to talk about the Blues project a little bit. As you know, the OL has a lot of the stuff that you're going to need, and if you go down to Blues project, you're going to see some documents that you'll need. This is the assignment, actual assignment page. This is the technical outline page where you'll be planning your arrangement. This is the Finale template where you will be using this Finale template to actually score your arrangement. And this is a Blues handout that is a PDF. It will just appear on your screen. You can download it if you want to, but probably just keep it as an online resource. Okay, so here it's opening up the big Blues handout. Okay, so let's go over to the assignment. So here's the assignment page that I gave you in class, and it says write a 64 measure blues composition in this form. There's a 4-bar intro, there's a vocal verse, another verse, a solo, another solo. At the end of that solo, the last two measures have a little unison lick where everybody in the band plays the same blues lick, and that's to prepare you to get to the last verse. Which could be a new verse or the same verse as verse 1, and then a blues stock ending in the last two measures. Okay, there's a big blues handout. That's the PDF I was talking about, and you can just copy some of these parts how they are or modify them slightly to fit your goals. It should sound like a blues. What are we doing for week 6? We are choosing a key for our blues. We are entering all the chord symbols in the upper staff. We'll copy them into the other staffs later. We're composing blues lyrics in AAB form, just like B.B. King or Eric Clapton or any of those other blues artists usually do. You're going to plan your entire arrangement with a technical outline document, and you're going to enter at least half of your bass and drum part in Finale. Okay, and then in weeks, you can take a look at what you're going to be doing in the next few weeks as well. But for now, I'm just focusing on this week. Okay, so this is how you're going to plan your document. This is the technical outline for the arrangement. And in the 4-bar intro, you're going to say, hey, what kind of emotion am I trying to get across? What kind of dynamics do I want to use? Do I want to start it with just a real small piano dynamic, or do I want to go big fortissimo? And then what am I going to use in the drums, in the cymbals, the snare, the bass, drum, the bass and the organ, and the voice or the lead instrument. Okay, when you sing your verse, here's a plan for your first verse. The same thing. What are you going to do in the second verse? What are you going to do in the second verse? What are you going to do in the solo chorus? What are you going to do in the solo chorus 2? And what exactly are you going to do in the last verse? So you should fill this out and have a plan for your entire arrangement. Okay, so how are you going to get stuff to put into your arrangement? Well, this big blues document that we just not downloaded but clicked on, that should help us a lot. It shows the blues scale, the typical blues scales. It shows the basic blues form. Notice it's a very simple form: 1 for 4 bars, 4 for 2, 1 7 for 2, 5. Usually a 4 goes in here as well, and then a 1, and then a 5 7 is a kind of a turnaround. So you could use any kind of standard blues. I don't want you to use a jazzy blues that has a lot of additional chords. Just keep it simple. Okay, this is an example of blues lyrics, and as you can see, it's A, B. You're going to write your own. You're not going to notate the melody or anything. You're just going to put slashes for the vocals and the guitar, and you're going to type out your lyrics. But the first thing is to plan your lyrics, and so there's a page down here later where you can plan your lyrics. Let me just go to that right away. Right here it says this page is to compose your blues lyrics, page 8. And notice the harmonies are here, and then you're going to write your lyrics for your A1, then your lyrics for the second A, which are pretty much the same, right? And then your lyrics for your B, and then here's your second verse. You're going to write lyrics for that. So think of something that's getting you down, and and then you're gonna write your lyrics. Here's an example. I say, hey, baby, why you go to school? I say, hey, baby, why you go to school right now? Do you know you don't know much, but you know you don't want to say nobody's fool? I ask you, baby, how you gonna pay those student loans? Tell me, baby, how you ever gonna pay those student loans? Now listen, you best get your money together, or there ain't much that you can ever own. And then you go to your first your solo. Okay, so that's an example of your blues lyrics. You're going to compose those for the first week too. All right, zipping through the rest of this handout, there's some other, there's some blues examples with riffs. These are, So, that's an example of a riff that can sometimes be used in blues. You might want to use this for one of your choruses. More riffs. Yeah, example of simple bass parts for blues. Okay, so to give you some more specifics, here's the blues scale in all keys. Whatever key you choose, there's the blues scale for it. In terms of the blues grooves, putting together a groove. Remember, you're going to plan your arrangement, and you want to start fairly simply in the first verse, So you could use a rim click that's kind of light in the snare, and then later on, when it gets kind of busy, you could use something really a little bit heavier in the snare, something like this. Okay, you can replace, toms instead of snares. So this is all, snares and toms right here. Here are examples of how to write cymbals. And as you can imagine, this would be somewhat heavy because it's ride cymbal. But if you put all the 8th notes on every single beat, it could be even heavier. You can keep it light with just quarter notes in the ride cymbal. That's a little bit lighter. You can have snare, and then you can double with the crash cymbal. So there are lots of different versions. Here's all kinds of possible kick drums you might consider using. 4 on the floor tends to be really, fairly heavy. If you use this Charleston, it might be a little bit lighter. So again, you can mix and match what you use in the various choruses. Here are some examples of, kind of like walking basses that are more common to the blues, or you could use root, root, octave, root, root, octave, root, root, 5th, root, root, 5th, root, root. Or you could do do, boo, do, boo, do, dee, so these are kind of typical walking bass parts. If you want to shuffle it a little bit more, you can use 8th notes in the bass, etc. Boom, 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 dee, boom, 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 dee, boom, dee, boom, boom. All right, so all kinds of possibilities. Here's some voicings for keyboards. We're going to get into this in class this week. And here are the blues stock endings that you're going to have to pick one of them for your tune. Okay, so the template for this finale file is on OL. And this is a possible, this is a sample technical outline. So if you're going to make your technical outline, you might look at at this. Although I will say this project is, it's 2 choruses longer than yours. So it might be a little confusing. But it can be a possible, it's very, very specific the way it's laid out. Okay, so here's an example of an actual sample arrangement. Notice it starts big. It's kind of big here, and I say hey, and so this is, now notice for the first verse it backs off, and it's not so heavy. It's kind of light because it's going to be heavier later on. So it starts really big, but then it backs right off to a kind of a lesser texture here in the beginning. And then notice the rhythmic notation can take over. You don't have to use specific notation all the time. Just use rhythmic notation when you can. And notice, look how the lyrics are typed in underneath the vocal and electric guitar. You're not going to record anything. You're not going to put any notes in here for the guitar or the vocals. You're just going to put slashes. You're going to type in some lyrics, which we'll talk about later. But so your main focus is on these three parts, and putting the fills in if you need guitar fills and stuff like that. But okay, so as you see, when we're it's getting a little busier here. This is the second solo chorus, and so we've got some busier parts in the bass and the drums at this point. So the arrangement is growing. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Here's a little riff kind of thing that's going to keep repeating in this section. So that's going to make it even busier. You might not have time to do that. You only have several choruses to write. But then here we have the required unison thing that's going to happen 2 bars in front of the last chorus, right here. 2 bars in front of the last chorus, okay? Everybody's playing in unison. And then you do your last verse, and then there's a stock ending at the very end. The last 2 measures are the stock ending. Okay, let's just take a look at it. This is the template finale file, and I've put a few things in there. And your assignment, for this week is to put in the bass and the drums. You're going to, eventually you're going to put some chord symbols in wherever you need them. But right now I've just put in a few little sample bass and drum parts. And I just wanted to show you the ghost note idea here. You see I've put these little parentheses in, and this will give us the ghost notes. Let's see what this sounds like. Not sure if you can hear that, but all these ghost notes are softer than the rest of the snare notes. So these are all softer in dynamics, except this one is louder and this one is louder. So how do we do that? It's programmed in, okay? So I'll show you how to do this. I'm going to take away the ghost notes here, and then we'll put them back in. It's an element of shuffle, that's blues shuffle, that's really authentic. So we're going to click our articulation tool. See this articulation tool? We're going to click that, and we're going to get an open parentheses. Now you could use this one. That's not going to affect your playback, though. It's the one at the end that's going to affect your playback. So this right here is going to start your ghost note, G. I programmed it as G. And this one, this one is going to end your ghost note. So they're both at the very bottom here, and that is that one. Okay, and this is going to start your ghost note right here, G. And this is going to end your ghost note. There's a better way to do it with meta tools that I can show you in class, maybe, hopefully. And then if you have 3 of them, you're going to have to put a middle ghost note in there as well. And that is, you see these little guys here? Something like 79 or so will give you a good ghost note in the middle. Okay, and then you can, of course, copy that whole measure by using the arrow tool and just going over and it's going to copy that measure into each of the other measures, and you'll have a drum groove like that. So it's fairly easy once you have the notes in to put in ghost notes and make it sound like kind of bluesy. Okay, and so we've talked about the choosing the key for your blues. You're entering all your chord symbols. Once you get them for 12 bars, just copy them for the whole project. You're going to compose your blues lyrics on page 8 of the handout there, or given out in class. You're going to plan your entire arrangement, and you're going to enter half of your bass and drum part in finale once you've planned it. I hope this helps, and we can, of course, talk more about it in class. Okay? See you next time.